Manny Pacquiao defeats Tim Bradley for the third time via decision, or by the second time officially, but the third time unofficially, by unanimous decision over 12 rounds. The referees all had it, the judges all had it 116 to 110. So they had it Pacquiao by a 6-point margin. I had it slightly closer than that. I had Pacquiao winning the fight by a 4-point margin. Tim Bradley did show technical improvements in this fight. That's the interesting thing. He had better footwork and better balance than he did in the first two fights. But crucially, in this fight, he didn't throw enough punches. I felt that Tim Bradley's best round was probably the 11th round, or it was at least one of his best rounds. I actually gave the final 2 rounds to Tim Bradley. And those were rounds where he knew he was going to lose the fight. He knew he was behind on points. And his trainer, Teddy Atlas, said, look, just give me some good boxing. Let's just, throw some punches, give me some good boxing and see what you can do. And he was effective in those rounds, I felt. He was more active and he was able to get stuff done. If he'd fought that way for the majority of the fight, he might have been able to get it closer than it actually was. But sometimes fighters just have your number. And I think that's the case with Tim Bradley. Pacquiao just has his number. He just knows Bradley's rhythm too well. He knows Bradley's body language too well. He finds Bradley a fairly easy fighter to read. So despite the fact that Bradley did make technical adjustments and he did make technical improvements, he was circling to his left. He wasn't lunging as badly as he was in the first 2 fights. His footwork held together a lot better than it did in the first 2 fights. But even so, Pacquiao still knew what Bradley was going to do, and he was able to anticipate most of it. Bradley had his moments. There was a couple occasions where he maybe stunned Pacquiao a little bit, but Pacquiao also stunned Bradley and he dropped him twice. The first knockdown, Bradley wasn't hurt at all. It really was more of a balance thing. The second knockdown, Bradley was slightly hurt from a shot a couple seconds before the knockdown, but a knockdown punch, again, kind of pushed Bradley off balance rather than, dropping him heavily. But he was definitely slightly hurt a couple seconds before the second knockdown, which came several rounds later. Bradley got off the canvas. He recovered all right. He was fine. A few seconds and his head was clear. But yeah, it was a good performance by Pacquiao against Bradley, a guy whose number he knows he has. And this is why I wasn't particularly excited for this fight. I mean, I hardly did any videos for this fight, if you notice. I've been doing videos all week about Joshua against Martin. I hardly said anything about this fight. In fact, I was joking to people online. I was saying, you know what? I hope somebody pulls out of the Bradley Pacquiao fight because I don't really want to see it. I was very disappointed when this fight got made. I would have much rather have seen Terence Crawford fight Manny Pacquiao, but apparently Terence Crawford didn't want the fight, which is very disappointing. I would have rather seen Pacquiao against a different opponent, someone who brings something else to the table other than what Tim Bradley brings. Someone who could give Pacquiao a different look. Whether or not they will be tougher than Bradley, we don't know. Pacquiao hasn't fought them. We don't know how the styles would match up, but I would just prefer to see Pacquiao fight somebody different rather than fight a guy he'd already beaten twice, really. Unofficially twice, officially once. Now he's beaten him officially twice, unofficially 3 times. It is what it is. Tim Bradley's made a lot of money. Him and Pacquiao got a lot of respect for each other. I'm just looking at them now, exchanging sweet nothings in the post-fight interview. They both respect and like each other. They've both earned a hell of a lot of money. To be honest with you, both of them could sail off into the sunset now. Bradley's got nothing else to prove, really. He's a Hall of Famer. Pacquiao's a Hall of Famer. Pacquiao can retire. Pacquiao might not want to retire after that, though, because despite the fact Bradley did show technical improvements, because of the fact he wasn't throwing enough shots, Pacquiao was able to put on probably a more dominant display than he did in the first 2 fights in some ways. You have to throw the shots to keep Pacquiao occupied if you're not Mayweather, and nobody else is Mayweather. So you're going to have to throw some shots and keep this guy occupied. Yeah, so Pacquiao may feel he's got something left in the tank. It may not be his last fight. Bradley, he tried with Teddy Atlas. Does he want to go again with Teddy Atlas? Does this loss knock his confidence in Teddy Atlas? I don't know. You tell me what you think. Would you like to see either of these guys fight anybody else? I definitely prefer Pacquiao as a fighter because he's more dynamic, he's more powerful. Tim Bradley, he's an overachiever. You know, given the fact that this guy's not a big puncher, he's a fighter of small stature. He's done very, very well for himself, considering those elements right there. So, you know, Bradley's earned a lot of money. I'm sure he's made a lot of money from this fight. Maybe he could just sail off into the sunset and retire. I don't mind seeing Bradley retire. I don't mind seeing Pacquiao retire, to be honest with you. If Pacquiao is going to fight on, they're talking about the winner of Canelo Khan. Maybe that might be interesting. Particularly if it's Khan, you know, for that old friendship turned to rivalry. And Pacquiao against any of the other top welterweights. It's unlikely that all Al Heyman fighters. Pacquiao against Crawford is something I'd like to see. So the most likely things are going to be Pacquiao against Khan or Canelo, or Pacquiao Crawford. So let me know what you would like to see. Do you even care? Would you like to see both these guys retire? Or would you want to see them fight somebody else? Let me know in the comment section below. Personally, myself, I don't really mind if they retire or whatever they do. All right, it's your boy Pacman, I'm out.